Alright, so we are in our first match and we get to be on the play. Obviously good sign. And we actually have a great hand, so this is pretty sweet. Turn 1 Aether Vial is definitely the dream. I don't think I want to lead with my Urborg. So we're going to go Cavern. The reason I don't want to lead with the Urborg is because if my opponent has fetch lands in his hand, I want him to take damage off of them. If I'm against Jund, for example, and my opponent has a fetch land, you know, if I play more Urborg, I give him the option of fetching for Stomping Ground and having it act like a tri-land, or just playing the fetch land and not even cracking it in order to have it tap for a black and Thoughtseize us. So I might be against... Oh, I'm against Bant and Eldrazi. So this should be pretty interesting. I think this is going to be a matchup where Captivating... Oh, wow, that was fortunate. Where Captivating Vampire can do some good work. And in general, because my opponent doesn't have a whole lot of removal, we should be able to snowball pretty effectively. Especially considering we have a fairly strong hand on the play with turn 1 Aether Vial. If we could draw a land here, that would be excellent. Would prefer a land or a 2-drop. And we do have a lot of each, so... Another Aether Vial is not ideal. Also not the worst thing in the world, though. One thing that's a little interesting about this is our opponent may have Dismember in his deck, and this Urborg is going to help him cast it. So this will be the Thoughtseer. And I feel like my opponent's pretty priced into taking the Captivating Vampire. If I draw a land, I can play both my lords, both my 3-mana lords, and be able to attack with 4 power first strikers. Pretty nasty. If I rip 2 lands, though, this Vampire Nocturnus can be a pretty big deal. Oh, another Aether Vial is not what the doctor ordered. A little unfortunate, but it should mean that I get to play some decent defense. My opponent has another Thoughtseer here. It's a little annoying, but not the end of the world. Engineer explosives for 1. Oh, that kills all my Aether Vials. LOL. Well, that was a blowout. Alright, come on, land. My opponent doesn't have a removal spell. He can't make any attacks. The first strike on this Stromkirk Captain is certainly pulling some weight. That was rough, though. I mean, that Engineer Explosive was basically a 4-for-1. Would be able to have Vampire Nocturnus in play this turn. Oh, that's annoying. Now my opponent can attack. And I can't really do anything about it. I can attack back with my Highborn, though. So if my opponent has Dismember here, that's pretty bad. Maybe I should have played my Bloodghast first. Well, maybe I'll draw land. Well, that Thoughtseize here is pretty annoying. This Bloodghast will be quite annoying for my opponent as well. Jeez. The Engineered Explosives are rough. Alright, so I'm going to leech him for 4. I am getting damage in. And I do get to attack with my Bloodghast. I draw like a Lord here. My opponent's just dead. Not draw a Lord. My opponent can fog a creature. With the Reality Smasher, he can't kill me. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess with another Soul Land, my opponent could play 2 Reality Smashers. I think that's a risk I'm willing to take, and there's not a whole lot I can do about it. And I can't believe how devastating those Engineered Explosives were. That was pretty unreal. Right, so here's your Reality Smasher number 1. Is this a draw that lets me win? No, because I can only push through 3 damage at most. But I can't actually block. Looks like I'm just dead. Another Lord would have been nice. Yeah, pretty close. Alright, next game. So, I don't think this is a matchup where I want the Collective Brutality is. But I think that Slaughter Pact might have some good use. I could also consider Thoughtseize, but I'd rather keep things tempo orientated and allow me to have better top decks. I don't think I actually want to bring in more removal than that though, even though those engineered explosives are going to be really annoying. But yeah, that game was like a little disappointing. I like the two engineered explosives were just way too good at slowing me down. Was able to get my opponent really low, but after him, you know, basically stone raining 3 of my Aether Vials and killing one of my creatures on the board, really took the speed out of my good start. We'll keep this. We don't have the Urborg this time, which is a little unfortunate. Urborg would make this Mutavault look a lot better in this hand. I could play the Mutavault first, and that way, at the bare minimum, I would be able to tick up my Aether Vial and attack for 2 damage with my Mutavault. But I don't actually think that that's like that great, even though 2 damage does matter. I'd rather give myself the opportunity to just top deck a land and start playing out my 2 drops, and then my 3 drops. So no land that taps for black is a little disappointing there, but certainly what we signed up for when we put Mutavault in our deck, and this is definitely the reason why I'm playing 2 Urborgs, not just 1, and why I'm playing only 3 Mutavaults. This is Dees. And if our opponent tries to crash in with a Reality Smasher, I can actually just flash in one of these and all right, so which is the best, what's the better 2-drop here that I want to put into play? Probably the Stromkirk Condemned. So yeah, I'm going to go for that. Captivating Vampire is also quite good. And if our opponent gives us the option, I'm not going to discard the Bloodghast until next turn. I feel like my opponent has to take Captivating Vampire here. Yeah. think what I want to do, put the Highborn into play, and then I can attack with Mutavault and Condemned. And Urborg's kind of good. This is all, right? Yeah, so it counts itself. Oh, I can actually attack with both. Or with all three of my creatures. And if my opponent wants to block, I can discard the Bloodghast and the Urborg. And that's probably worth it. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Activate this ability only once. Never mind that. That would have been bad. And so I know I want to do this before the end of the turn anyway, so we'll just do it now and get our extra point of damage in. We can attack with that Bloodghast next turn. So if our opponent has Engineer Explosives for 2, it's pretty bad for us, but Bloodghast is a little on the disposable side, and at least we would get some Kalastria Highborn triggers out of it. So I'm hoping that we don't see Engineer Explosives. And given the fact that my opponent's already played a mana or land this turn, I don't think we will. Ghost Quarter's like pretty good though. And so now I need to decide what I want to do with my Aether Vial. I have more 3-drops than I do 4-drops. So I think I'm going to leave it at 3. Ooh, and that's pretty nice. Real nice, actually. All right. We are cooking with gas. And I think my opponent might... No, I guess not. So this is a lethal attack. I wonder if I can attack with the captain. I don't think I can attack with the captain. My opponent's at a virtual 10 because of the Indulgent Aristocrat. So I think what I want to do is sacrifice the Aristocrat. I'm not sure. No, I don't just sacrifice the Mutavault. I won't get the trigger, but that's okay. So the fact that my creatures are first strikers makes this kind of a nightmare for my opponent. So I have a few different options here. I could kill the Thoughtseize Seer, or I could kill the Sky Spawner and the Displacer. I don't think my opponent's really going to have the mana to use Displacer, and I can kind of run over the other two. So I think Thoughtseize Seer is the best thing to kill because it's going to give me another redraw, which is what I want. On the other hand, if my opponent has Thoughtseize Seer in hand, I'm just going to take 8 this turn, go down to 4. I think I actually want to kill the other two. I just want to get rid of the most number of blockers. That's how I want to do this. I think if my opponent's... Like, there's a good chance my opponent has another Thoughtnut Seer. And this makes it like really bad for him if he does. It's not going to be particularly impactful. Also, this just means I have 4 lethal attackers, and my opponent needs to deploy a lot in order to save the day. Okay, so that was pretty sweet. Kind of just ran him over, and we're going to see if we can do it again. I'm not going to make any other changes. What's sweet about that game was even a game where we didn't play a creature until turn 3 because we had Mutavault, fetch land. We didn't have the second black source to start playing our 2-drops. And here we get to go 1-drop, 2-drop, Lord. So pretty ideal curve. Opponent's mulliganing to 5. Jeez. Looking good for us. Our opponent can have some pretty explosive hands. Creature type is human. Yeah, our opponent can have some pretty explosive hands, but he's gonna need a pretty explosive hand. So given the opportunity, I'm actually gonna play this Captivating Vampire out probably as soon as I can. Ooh, do I want to play this Aether Vial? No, I think the time for Aether Vial is over. But our opponent doesn't seem like he's playing that much removal. Like, we've seen... Did we even see... No, we haven't seen Path to Exile. We've only seen Engineered Explosives. Thought not? Yep. So, our opponent has taken our Captivating Vampire every single game, which would undoubtedly wreck him as soon as we get to any kind of board stall. Wow, and our opponent actually went after the captain. So that's kind of interesting. We have enough vampires in hand. I wonder if this means my opponent has a Path to Exile in hand. If he does, we can play the Captivating Vampire and activate it immediately. It does not have Summoning Sickness. So first we will go to combat. Opponent will undoubtedly block with Thoughtseize. We might be able to trick him into thinking we have Disfigure. I intend on sacking this to Viscera Seer. Anyway. Oh, that's actually looking pretty decent here. In case we lose our Captivating Vampire, that's probably going to prove to be useful. So let's see here. Play our land, get our Bloodghast back. And Rona's Path to Exile, it's kind of annoying. But you could also just have another Thoughtseize. Seems to me that, okay, so if I go Bloodghast, Aether Vial here, that means next turn I'm playing Mutavault with the Captivating Vampire in my hand. So I won't actually be able to activate the Captivating Vampire because the only mana I'll have available is one Mutavault, and it'll have to tap in order to activate itself. So I'm gonna go here, and if my opponent has, Path to Exile, it's kind of like whatever. All right, we got a race. So now I get to start taking things. Suppose I can start by attacking. Yeah. Okay. So I scry to the bottom. I think I should just kill this Thought-Knot here now so that I can play whatever I potentially draw. In case I draw something good. Oh, hello. Perfect. That is what I'm talking about. Now even if my opponent has a good top deck like a Reality Smasher, probably not going to do a whole lot. definitely want to pay for our pact. And that was a good draw, but not quite good enough. So let's see, what's the best we can do here? If I activate the Mutavault, 2, 6, or 2, 5, 8, 10 damage. Kind of want to keep one thing back because if my opponent top decks a Reality Smasher, we're dead. So I think Viscera Seer is going to be the thing that plays defense here. Yeah. Then I think I want to just actually I can get 2 scries, can I? That seems pretty decent. Guess I'll keep the swamp in my hand. It's not like my opponent's going to gain life. I'll insulate myself from engineer explosives on 2. Wow, is this Reality Smasher? Wow. Well, I'm glad I kept exactly one thing that can block back. That's pretty unbelievable. Oh, you want to put me to 1? Gonna keep that Eldrazi Scion back? Could be dicey for my opponent. I'll go to 1. Sure. Sounds great. See, do I have him just dead on the crackback? He can block my 2 Bloodghasts. And then I can innovate both my Mutavaults and sacrifice the creature that I top deck. So yeah, my opponent is dead. Opponent doesn't even know what's coming. Three, 6, 8, 10. I guess just for the extra rub-ins. I suppose actually my opponent could have Path to Exile. 3, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, does he have a trick? Nope. We win. Sweet.